MARTA trains run high above the streets of East Atlanta. But below the tracks lies the start of a rail line that never was.
We're looking at what was originally part of the MARTA referendum. It was the Tucker North DeKalb branch, but obviously it didn't get built.
Graffiti now covers much of this largely unknown transit trench and tunnel near MARTA's Eastlake station. But to understand what happened to this forgotten place, you have to look back at Atlanta's past. The 1970s saw a major change in how many Atlantans would get around the city. Bus routes were being replaced with a modern rail system. By 1979, lines were running north, south, east, and west.
There was a lot of enthusiasm for it. We were able to get sufficient federal funds. The federal government saw us as one of the star agencies.
Even after the first rail lines were built, many communities were still cut off. One of those areas was Northeast Atlanta, home to Emory University and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Plans from 1971 show these places were originally supposed to be connected with a busway that would have taken buses off public streets and onto their own exclusive road. However, that was ruled out in favor of a faster, more efficient rail line that would have run along an existing freight railroad right-of-way. Trains would have made one stop at North Decatur Road, near the campus of Emory University, and another about 1.5 miles away at North Druid Hills Road. But what would become known as the Tucker North DeKalb line never happened.
That line, of course, was never built for several reasons. One was financial. MARTA didn't have the funds. And two, when we began to do some little more than preliminary planning, the community, particularly in the North Druid Hills and Emory area, was opposed to our construction of the MARTA rail up that segment.
From the air, you can see a middle track where the proposed branch would begin to break off from MARTA's east line. And about 400 yards east, 500 feet of trench and 200 feet of tunnel are still waiting for tracks and trains. So why is all this here?
At the time we had the east-west construction going, it made sense that ultimately, if we were going to build the Tucker North DeKalb, to make a branch entrance for that. If we wouldn't have, and we would have ended up building, we'd have disrupted the east line and it would have been much more expensive. So we provided that tunnel in anticipation that ultimately that segment would be built.
Fast forward to the 21st century, and MARTA now has 4 heavy rail lines, and there's a proposal to build a light rail line connecting the CDC and Emory University to the MARTA system. Maps for the suggested line, known as the Clifton Corridor, show that the tracks wouldn't even come near the old tunnel. But planners do know about it.
I have posed that to the planning committee that's doing the Clifton Corridor expansion, along with our consultants, a lot of them who were unfamiliar with this area.
But despite its age and rough appearance, this structure was built to last.
The concrete and all is good to go. We could get it up and running. That wouldn't be an issue.
So for now, the beginnings of the Tucker North DeKalb line will continue to sit here, waiting for future plans and reminding us of the struggles faced in the past and the new challenges of today.
You can see some of the initial enthusiasm and then some of the opposition and see how things have changed, and particularly how attitudes have changed about how we want to live.